Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of On the Beat. I'm Tony Olivero here with my fellow beat writer Brett LoGiurato after Syracuse's bowl eligibility clinching win 13-10 over Rutgers here at Rutgers Stadium earlier this evening. I mean, after the game it was pretty crazy on the field and in the post-game press conference room. Doug Marrone, he seemed very emotional after the game with what transpired and how it transpired. And I guess we'll just touch on that first. Obviously, SU will be going to a bowl for the first time since 2004. They get their 7th win, now 7-3 on the year. And Brett, just what was the vibe you got from Marrone about how important this win truly was?
Well, I think it was evident in his post-game remarks. You know, he really doesn't, say a lot after each win, but he went on for 5, 6, 7 minutes just about what this win meant to his team. And it's evident that it means a lot to this program just to turn around so quickly, I guess. And no one really thought this would happen this year, and I guess you saw it in his post-game reaction.
Yeah, I mean, he mentioned character a bunch of times. He mentioned seniors. He mentioned last year's seniors. He mentioned Coach Mack. He mentioned Coach Schwartzwalder. He mentioned a video we showed about D-Day. It was just on and on and on, rattling off these things. And after an entire season where he's been preaching one game at a time, one win at a time, here he was. I think he didn't say it explicitly, but implicitly, I think he was getting across to everyone just how important this win was for SU, for the city, and for the university. But with that, the hero with today's game, obviously Ross Krautman, career-long 48-yard field goal to tie the game, and then with a minute and 7 seconds left, the game winner, the one that sends them to a bowl, the one that sent the team into just a frenzy. Ross Krautman, the true freshman first-year player, is the hero for SU. Just, I guess, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't kicked many from 40-plus this season. He's been pretty much automatic all season, but they've been from 20, 30 yards out. The 48-yard one cleared. It was good by
it had 10, 15,
10, 15 yards on it. And it was big to tie the game, and then the game winner just like Doug Marrone said after the game, you just expect it from Ross now, and he's been all season he's been under the radar, but he's been as big of a reason as any steady play and steady kicking presence.
Numbers-wise, stats-wise, he's the best kicker in the Big East, even if he is a freshman, even if he took the job from Ryan Lichtenstein. But along with that, the other kicker out there, the other specialist for SU, who's been around forever, kind of the opposite there of Krautman, Rob Long. Today there was a lot of things going on, but I think that something that stuck out to me was just how Rob Long handled the punting and the special team scenarios. He told me he knew going into the game that he knew obviously Rutgers was going to bring the house. They're trying to block the punts. They almost got there 2 times. I don't know how he got it off, but I think it was really important for this SU team, and it didn't put them in a hole where with someone less experienced, some of those punts might have been blocked, because Rob did tell me he had to change some stuff up. He needed to get the quick release off, and those line drive kicks I think reflected that. But those two were ultimately successful. No punts were ultimately blocked, and SU was able to, I guess, just keep in the game there, only down by those 3 points entering the latter stage of the third quarter. But a kick that was blocked or tipped there, I think it might have been by Anthony Perkins, was obviously Rutgers kicker Sansante there. To kind of put the game away there for Rutgers. It was blocked there with 3 minutes left, and it started that last drive for SU. So I guess what's your thoughts on that final stop there for the defense there on that drive, and that last drive there for SU?
Yeah, it all seemed to come down to those 10 yards at the end of the game. It went from a 25-yard or on the 25-yard line to 35, and 10 yards were big because it just, as you saw, it just fell just short. And it was just pushing back after Rutgers had just pretty much driven all the way down the field against the Syracuse defense, and it was definitely the turning point of the game, and it led to the offensive series as well. It
was a turning point, but it was a late turning point in an ugly game, and I think that was the theme throughout. Throughout the early portions of it, DeLon Carter was playing pretty well. A lot of other people were struggling on both sides of the ball, but what you ultimately saw there in the end was finally kind of pretty or good football there out of SU in those final 3 minutes marching down the field. Antoine Bailey showed up, Marcus Sales showed up with Alec Lemon not playing out there with the banged up hand. And I guess just overall it was an ugly game for both sides, but in the end, SU kind of in a moment that's going to stick in a lot of fans and coaches and players' minds for a long time, with Ross Krautman there hitting the field goal to end the game. But I guess, overall, I guess final things you take away from this game. Obviously, SU struggled, Rutgers struggled. SU's played a bunch of better games this year, but they finally get the bowl win and the weights lifted off the shoulders. What's your take, right?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Ugly went to pretty quickly, I guess. In the end, this win does mean a lot just in the significance of it. Max Suter was asked after the game, 10 years from now, what do you think this win will be remembered by? And, he didn't really have a concrete answer, but I think what it'll be remembered for is just kind of the concrete evidence of turning point of this program, probably. And, it finally was there after big wins at USF, big win at West Virginia. This was finally the one that got them over the top and got them to where their season goal always has been, I guess.
Yeah, you mentioned getting over the top, and as I left the press conference room there at the end, the last person that was in there with me was a running backs coach, Tyrone Wheatley. I haven't talked to Coach Wheatley in honestly about a few months, but there at the end there, I did ask him. I said, "Hey, what do you think this win means for Coach Marone? The things we mentioned before about how long he took to talk about so many different things." And I asked Coach Wheatley, I said, what do you think that means for him, for him to kind of say those things? What do you think this win just means for him? And he said, like he always says, it's one game after one game after one game. But this was like the almost one game, and he really does feel that it meant a lot to Coach Marone. And then I asked him, do you feel it took a weight off his shoulder? He said, I guess it does, but knowing Coach Marone, he's going to put that weight right back on his shoulder. So I think that sums up this win here for SU. They got it finally. They're going to go there for the first time since '04, but there are still 2 games left and one more game there. We'll see where it is, I guess, but these last 2 games will I guess, sort that out. But for Brett from the Rutgers Stadium press box here, after this 13-10 win for SU, 7-3 on the season, signing off again, guys. Be sure to check online for all our coverage, and be sure to check back tomorrow as we'll have all of your coverage from the Canisius game in the Dome as well. Again, guys, thanks.